All right, you're welcome back. We're so glad that you stayed with us. Another division may be brewing within the All Progressives Congress, APC, over a decision to adopt the use of direct or indirect primaries.
Now, over the years, the party adopted the indirect system in their primaries, where selected delegates on behalf of members of the party chose flag bearers or standard bearers for different positions. But the APC changed that routine in its primary for the Osun governorship election, scheduled to hold September the 22nd. The party opted for a direct primary where members of the party were allowed to vote for aspirants at their wards.
Yes, indeed, but it didn't go down without some squabbles, as some APC stalwarts did not agree with the process. National chairman of the party, Adams Oshomole, is one of the proponents of the direct primary method. But many state governors and party leaders have rejected the approach. And hopefully a decision on the method to adopt will be reached today during the party's NEC meeting.
Can I assure you, if you win direct primaries in any constituency, you are going to win an election, because everywhere APC has larger number of registered voters and registered members. So it's clear, if you win it, you are certainly going to win an election. And if you lose it and you are eventually forced into, there's likelihood that the maybe opposition or any party around there will be able to win the election. So it's actually a good test for APC in every part of this country to do direct primaries.
All right, we have a member of the All Progressives Congress, Ayodele Adewale, joining us to discuss this. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks
Good morning.
for
Nice to see
joining
you.
us.
Thanks for having
Thank
me.
you.
So, direct or indirect primaries, where do you stand?
Well, I stand by the provision of the party charter, the party constitution that makes provision for several means of primaries. But the popular opinion now is the direct primaries. Reason being that it costs less, it has less of rancor, and people tend to believe more in it. And it allows every member of the party to take that decision on who governs them and who represents them.
I wonder what is giving rise to this call right now, because the indirect primaries where delegates are gathered or hidden in a hotel, however way it was, is what Nigerians or political parties rather have been practicing all the while. It's a good thing that it's coming out though, but what is giving rise to it now?
Well, like I said, there are various provision in the Constitution, and when you read it, you see the party is not a monologue thinking platform. You're going to have people with different ideas. They're going to lean to different provisions of our Constitution. But again, the popular opinion will have to suffice. And like I have said, direct primary is more transparent. Many times you have delegate primaries, and some of them, some of quote and unquote, perhaps might be induced towards swinging their decision. But this is a process where every single registered member will have to queue. And how many people can you buy? For instance, if you have a ward where you have about 5,000 members, even if you're giving 10,000 naira per person, you know how many millions you're going to spend. You understand? But if you have a popular person that is widely loved and has the idealistic tendency of carrying the deliverable of the party
And even
towards, you understand, the pedigree is there. So it allows those people who have greater widespread within their constituency or environment to have the opportunity of governing their people.
So you would say that the APC has actually finally come to the reality that the delegate system or indirect primaries has actually failed.
I won't.
And I wonder what your reaction would be to, you know, when the North says we're not ready for that model, we're just not ready, not now.
None of those provisions have failed. It hasn't failed. It is the decision of the people. Politics is about people. It's about numbers. As we are now, if we decide to take a consensus that we are going to drink from that cup, and he says, no, we can drink from the tap, the three of us will have to vote, inclusive of yourself and himself. So if two agrees, it means that the popular vote or the popular opinion will have to take the day.
Hold on. Excuse me. Excuse me.
Sorry.
Yeah, the Constitution gives specification to all of this, which means you can take either one depending on. But what kind of circumstance can give rise to as far as the constitution is concerned, of your party, what circumstance can give rise to a delegate system or a direct system? Is the constitution clear as to what should come based on what circumstance?
The constitution is an agreement of people that is written down. And once that agreement is written down, it gives room for discussion. You understand? We can swing either way, as long as the popular opinions agrees. If we decide to go one stream, then people will be shut out, because it has been written that, oh, we'll have to go this way. And you understand? And life and time is dynamic. You understand? Today we can have that, tomorrow we might not. Come to think of it, the quote-unquote 180 million Nigerians is said, though I do contest with that population figure.
Do you think it's more or less?
It is less. Really? I've had the opportunity of traveling around this country by road.
Okay.
You understand? When I was a student activist. So I know where the populations are. If we go by a biometric analysis, it is less. We don't have that much. But then that is a discussion for another day.
Yeah.
Now, if all Nigerians decide to, or let's say majority of Nigerians, decide to carry out a general election by a representative structure, it means that very few Nigerians will have to determine who governs them. You understand? So a lot of Nigerians might say, no, let's all go to the poll. In as much as we're all going to the poll, a lot of Nigerians have not even collected their PVCs. So it means that a very few people will determine the fate of the general public and the populace. But in this regard, they are saying that everybody come and determine the fate of the party, which I think is very realistic and objective.
Which used to be the norm. How did this whole delegate system even start? I mean, is there a link between this whole concept of godfatherism, money bags, corruption, you know, finding its way into our electoral process, and they discovered that the delegate system was the way to go if we're going to ensure that our interest, the people who we want there, are the ones who emerge at the end of the day?
If you dig through history, it was schemed by the military, particularly. You understand? It was schemed that pre-independence, everybody go to determine who governed you. But when they came with their own thinking in trying to limit some certain people because of the fact that they are stereotyping some people, they brought about that. But the June 12 election actually showed us the best popular way to go. During the June 12 episode, everybody queued. You will see who, you will see, you understand? You see who is doing you. You will see who loves you. If you like, cap everybody. The following morning, you will see that they will just drift. You understand? For instance, if you have assured me a night before that you're going to vote for me, and you think that you're going to go to one corner and just on print, and the next morning they say, oh, you have to queue here, the power of conscience will have to play. If I've cemented a good relationship with you.
Isn't that in itself an error where you would already know that I will vote for you? I mean, should it not secret? It is my fundamental right to guard who I will vote for. You're not even supposed to know in the first place.
If, for instance, if he likes me, he must be able to show to the world that he likes me.
Yes, by voting, not by letting you know that he will vote for you.
If you believe in your faith, you must be able to proclaim it. And not hide behind it, don't worry, I'm a Christian. And at the back, you're doing something else. Or I'm a Muslim. At the back, you're doing something else. Or I'm an African believer. At the back, you're cursing your beliefs. It is about belief. If you believe in the person, you must be able to stand by your belief and protect your belief and let your belief take sway.
Okay. If we, like you talked about the memory lane, if we go back to the option A4 that gave rise to Abiola's election, people went back to their constituencies to, queue up for votes and all of that. At that time, level of awareness, political awareness, is not as much as what we have now, where population has increased, people are a little more vibrant, people are a little more exposed and enlightened. If we go by the direct system, how challenging would it be to coordinate people? Because for instance, you just mentioned, for instance, if we have 5,000 people in your constituency, for instance, coming for primary election, how would you coordinate the people for it to be organized enough for there not to be chaos?
You see, naturally, time itself is dynamic and very intriguing. As for the June 12 thing, do you know why the June 12 even lasted so long in terms of agitating for the pronouncement of the actualization of the winner of the election? It's because of the fact that people took part in it. It was not a delegate thing. If it was a delegate collected thing, that struggle would have died. It was a popular struggle, a people's driven struggle. You can't kill all of them. As long thing, that struggle would have died. It was a popular struggle, a people's-driven struggle. You can't kill all of them. As long as they replicate, as long as they generate, they will keep fighting for their agitation.
Yeah.
You understand? And with retrospect to what you have just said, I would say that it starts from the aspirant themselves. They will start indoctrinating and teaching their people on what to do. That come on the day of the primaries, just keep calm. You are going to see a placard or a banner with the face of the aspirant. Just queue behind. No matter what you do, people will have to square up. Water will find the space. The people will find their space because they know that at the end of a certain time, it must be counted and they must come. It is a show of, sportsmanship. You understand? And people go home and be happy about it.
Definitely. But as it pertains to the APC and this choice for direct primaries, there are those who still express concerns that, look, there is no accurate party register. And so the direct primaries can still be manipulated. It's not foolproof.
Well, you cannot confirm that.
Well,
that is their thinking.
Okay.
I know that APC have a very accurate register. Yes, because we have the ward meetings, we have the LGA meetings. At every meeting, people put down their names and their phone numbers and their ward. You understand?
So you can account for
can account for all of these things. So there's nothing like that. And even recently, APC is also giving room for more registration of opportunities. In 2013 or 2014, I think, there was a registration exercise that was carried out by the APC at various polling units. And a lot of people came and registered. As we speak, a lot of people have the APC slip. So what they are just doing now is more or less like your census program that you do every certain time. But registration, it's a continuous thing within the APC. But right now, they are even opening the room more, that let more people come in to register.
So you think this is a template that should be adopted across board, whether it's the APC, the PDP, and the 90 or so other
91
political parties?
If you want true representation, if you want a process that is people-driven, we should embrace and celebrate the direct primary thing because it allows every single individual to have a say and take part in who governs them.
So it gives us a window as to our democracy taking a step further than where it was. Is that what we should conclude?
I think what should be talking about now, that it should be electronically driven with technology. You don't have to go to a particular place to register. You can even register with a bank. You can open an account online now.
Yes.
You understand? There should be online registration that is not tampered with. You understand? Online registration, you can register with your phone. It helps to even log quickly into their motherboard. They would only have to process the data that they are given in order to sieve it out if you have multiple registration.
Yeah,
that
but
is what you'll be looking at now.
INEC boss, Mahmoud Yaqub, doesn't seem to have much confidence in e-voting. And speaking of which, in places like the US, where you would expect that they have actually perfected the art of using electronic voting, in many instances, they've had to go back to the analog system because the e-voting system is not foolproof either. It is very open to manipulation.
Well, my sister, I would say that this is 218. If it is true that the man is thinking that way, then he's still living in the Genghis era, in the medieval era. The little of any country right now in this world believes that technology rules the day. The man that built the fastest computer in the world is a Nigerian.
Yeah,
we have a lot of eggheads in Nigeria that can build a platform that is tamper-proof or near tamper-proof. Even the American government, as perfect or near perfect as their society is, they still claim that the Russians penetrated that. They did not sit at that. They went further. They went further to increase their technology. So that it becomes tamper-proof.
I guess he's coming from the perspective of the fact that Nigeria doesn't have the spread of internet penetration enough, where if it is adopted, Lagos, Abuja, and a few places will benefit. But places like some of the villages in some states, some people naturally be disenfranchised.
There is no corner in Nigeria, even Zambisa forest. You understand? You have GSM phones. you have communication. It is for them to reach out. If anybody tells me that, that is a lie. As long as we can communicate with cell phones to every nooks and cranny of Nigeria, as long as even the shoemaker, the poorest of the poor in Nigeria, can still afford a 3,000 naira palasa phone.
But we still
Then
have
don't
places.
limit
We still
them.
have places where people have to go and stand in a certain place to have signals.
Because you are not reaching out to them. Government has the structure to reach out to every Nigerian. So if they are telling me that as a government, the biggest black country in the whole of the world, the giant of Africa, cannot achieve that, then the man should drop his pen and resign.
Well, that means you're saying that the budget of 700 million or thereabout that INEC is asking for voter education,
Yes.
For example, would that suffice to
There's no-
actually
it should
help out
suffice.
in educating people in the
if
rural
they
area?
manage the resources very well and account for it, it should suffice. There's no corner of this country, there's no local government in this country where you don't have a core member. There's none. Apart from the crisis-ravaged areas, there is none. These are people that are already prepared. You only need to increase their capacity. You understand? And launder these technologies, launder these workings through them. There's hardly any corner in Nigeria where you don't have a secondary school. You understand? These are already groomed set of Nigerians that you can tap into their potentials and launder these workings through them.
Okay, but time is against us a little, but let me ask you this. When it comes to voter enlightenment and education, we're talking about direct primaries.
Yeah.
There are some members of the political party who have never voted in direct primaries, who don't even know how it is going to play out. They don't know what the process is going to be, because it has always been indirect system all the while. What is the party doing, for instance, like APC, to enlighten people and those like that who may be going into there? If it is adopted, they'll be having it for the first time.
You see, APC is a wonderful party, and we have wonderful leaders, especially national leader Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. A few weeks ago, there was a stakeholders meeting that was called in Lagos, where he attended. The
Yes.
governor of Lagos State attended, and all the GAC members, major key stake party leaders attended. And these issues were discussed. And they were told on how these things are. Now, what is left for them to do is to go back to their various enclave to also educate their people, which we are doing. I, for instance, have been doing that. And there's a weekly meeting that I organize with over 400 members attending, and we talk about that. At that meeting also, we have cell nucleus in various wards and various zones. We also do that. From there, we start to pick numbers. We pick numbers and all of that. So people are well informed. Even they are using the mass media to also inform people. The various community meetings, associations, they are using it to tell people on how these things are. Don't always think that people are not aware or they are not educated enough to know what direct means. Direct means just stay there.
Keeping
Put
it
your
simple.
hands up. Make it very simple. I stand by this person. I'm voting for this person. Then they start counting.
So,
and those that are logged in.
Osun and very possibly Lagos will be a test case for how successful or otherwise the direct primaries would be. But don't you envisage some problem when the North says we're not ready for this model? What does it mean?
Look, whoever that is saying that is only cheapening the North. People used to have that thinking in the South. I was the national publicity officer of the National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS. While we had not been exposed to the North, I used to think like that. By the time I got to the North and went all around, I found out that a lot of the Northern students were more brilliant than the Southern students. A lot of them. You understand? That removed the veil from my face, that the fact that you see beggars on the street in the South does not mean that the Northerners are not well educated. They are seriously well educated.
True.
So it means that those in the South must also keep up with their game. Otherwise, they'll be left behind in their utopia thinking.
Okay, we have to leave it here now.
Yes.
Ayodele Adewale, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Right.